Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Think I accidentally, for a quick second, started the stream without me being actually part of the actual stream. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What is going on? Gonna make sure that we look good. All right, all right, all right. New York Football Giants are playing today in my Giambi against Miami Dolphins. Dolphins haven't lost in like a month. Think both teams have 4 wins? Doesn't care. I don't care. Giants 4-7. We're going for 5-7. Who we got? We got Jake, Sean, Cletus, Davey, JD, and Albin B in the chat. What's going on, everybody? And I think I look good. Do I sound good? Boom. Yes, I do. All right. So we're here. So what I want to do, I want to make this a call-in stream. I'm here and I'm kind of going. I'm kind of here and I'm going until game time. I'm not going to be going into the game. Now, this could be 45 minutes. This could be longer. I don't know, but I do want to make it a call-in stream. And I'm going to put the link in the chat very soon and very shortly. A couple just things about call-in streams right now, especially before it's a game. Don't talk to me about the NFL draft and NFL prospects. If you want to talk about like the pick, and if you want to talk about what you want the Giants to do in the offseason, do not talk to me about prospects right now. Giants are playing a football game. Let's talk about Mike Glennon. Let's talk about Patrick Graham revenge game. Let's talk about the future of Joe Judge. Let's even talk about the future of the GM spot if you want. Let's talk about everything under the sun except NFL prospects. I've done nothing on them, and that conversation just doesn't excite me. So, Bobby is sick. Yes, that is why I'm riding solo. Bobby's still sick. He's kind of silly, and he didn't go to the doctor and get antibiotics, so he's kind of suffering through that flu. Does not have COVID, which that's a good thing. Okay. Bobby is not in, well, Bobby's a little far from Miami. Florida's a big state. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy to the clipboard, post a comment, boom. All right, so there you go. There you go. That's the link to join. If you want to join, you want to talk Giants with me, let's do it. So I'm excited for this game tonight. I don't care if Daniel Jones is not playing. At least this game, I'm expecting to win. I'm expecting the Giants to win this game. Mike Glennon. Dolphins have a very high blitz rate, so I'm expecting a lot of play action. I'm expecting a lot of crossing routes over the middle of the field. You saw those things last week. If you are going to enter, I would ask that you have your camera on just so it's a little bit of a better show. That's really what I'm expecting right now from this Giants team is let's get some play action, crossing routes over the middle of the field. On defense, let's confuse Tua a little bit. He's a high, very efficient quarterback, but let's confuse him a little bit. I want to see if I can pin this comment. I don't know how. I don't know how to pin the comment. If we have any mods in the chat, if they can do that. So, Rahul, I'm going to let you in. Let's do this, brother. Let's add to the stream. Rahul, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We're going to win. We're going 9-8. I'm really happy, confident about that. Excited to see this Giants team play today. Obviously, without Daniel Jones, it's a little bit different. But how you feeling about today? Break it down for me.
I think we get a big win today. I'm honestly, I think the national media, but also just like Giants media is really just not talking about Giants defense enough. Like we have looked really good the last, few weeks. And I don't think Tua's that special of a quarterback. He's got like 6 picks this year. He hasn't really played all the games, and that's still, a decent amount of picks for how much he's played. And I mean, we made Jalen Hurts look like an idiot last week, and I think we can pretty much do the same with Tua and come out with a pretty big win relying on defense.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between the Eagle offense and the Miami offense is the Eagles have probably the best rushing attack in the NFL. And the Dolphins, while they like to kind of commit to the run a little bit, they're bad. I mean, they're Giants level bad at running the ball. But Tua's been efficient. Tua has been a pretty efficient quarterback. While Jalen Hurts has, I think you look at his year and it's like, well, he's running the ball well, but he's not overall that efficient, but he hasn't been turning over the ball, which the Giants forced him to make a lot of turnovers last week. And that's why there's that hope that, hey, we can confuse yet another young quarterback to maybe make some mistakes. Patrick Graham can disguise some stuff. In the secondary can continue doing the job that they're doing too. And this should even be a game where Bobby was talking about this on the pregame stream. This should be a game where Azeez should come out and have a pretty solid game too, because the Dolphins offensive line and their protection has been really, really bad. and Tua's been getting the credit for manipulating the pocket, kind of like Jones has. Really bad offensive line, really bad protection, but manipulating the pocket, keeping that sack rate kind of down at like an average level. So there's a lot of, when Jones isn't playing, when that's the main thing that we're evaluating these final 6 games, when he's not playing, that sucks. But there's still a lot of things to kind of keep your eye out for today and, consider for what this Giants team could look like this year and then what they can look like kind of next year. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think it's I think one thing is like they had Jalen Waddle, obviously, but we've done a really good job of taking away like, number one weapons usually. So if we can limit him and then with Logan Ryan back, I think Logan Ryan's one of our, better players, especially having him back with all of like the veteran experience he has. I'm expecting a win, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. And also the interesting dynamic is Xavier McKinney has now, I'm not saying Xavier McKinney has started to look better because Logan Ryan hasn't been on the field, but a lot of the games in which Xavier McKinney has kind of broken out, you've had, Logan Ryan's, he's been out, and he's had COVID. So the dynamic between those two, how good can those two look together when they're on the field? They're sharing their half of the field. And we saw Patrick Graham go a little bit more single high last week. I wonder if that kind of continues with Miami, since Tua does not really throw the ball deep down the field. They do like to run the ball a little bit more. So do they continue to go with that single high approach? Do they stick with the 2 high, despite them not really producing a lot of explosive plays? So, again, a lot of things to kind of consider and keep your eye out for. I know it's tough to see. Basically, when you're watching the game on TV, it's tough to see if a team is playing single high or not. So is Xavier McKinney or Logan Ryan, are they creeping down into the box where you can see them? And if you can't see them on the broadcast, then that's how you know that they're playing 2 high. So
what happens to Julian Love's role today with Logan Ryan coming back? Do you think he plays more of like the slot corner role, or do you think he's back in the safety position?
Yeah, I think he's going to alternate, safety and slot. And that's where, this is where Julian Love is kind of like at his best, right? Where, even if 1 or 2 guys are down in that secondary, it's Julian Love can play here, Julian Love can play there. He was even playing some outside corner last week too, when, it was Adoree's out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him more on the outside too, if they want to have, I don't think Darnay is going to play on the outside. They tried that a little bit. And then he got mossed on a play, and they were like, "All right, nah, we don't want that."
Yeah, with Adoree, I'm looking forward to Aaron Robinson too. So definitely looking forward to the defense today. Thanks for letting me on, man.
No problem, man. Be well. Thank you for joining. All right, yeah, like I said, the call in. Oh, good. Whoever did that for me. The call in link is at the top of the stream. I know it's a Sunday morning. I kind of just had to shower myself. I got out of bed. I sore. I was incredibly sore. Played football yesterday. By the way, Justin Panic played football with my fantasy football league yesterday. Justin Panic has a contested catch touchdown before Kenny Galladay does. I'm going to welcome on Sean now. Kind of just brought him by surprise right there. I didn't even welcome. What's going on, brother? What do you got?
Doing?
Good.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good,
right,
brother.
awesome.
I love the chair. I need that chair.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's comfortable. I'm excited for today.
Wait, hold on. Beautiful jersey with the patch. But who's the number?
Yeah, this is Taylor, Lawrence Taylor, of course.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's beautiful.
I put this, I swear this is true. I put this jersey on at halftime during the Raiders game. Xavier McKinney pick 6 immediately.
Hey.
And I have not stopped wearing it since. I haven't washed it since. So
you've even worn it every day, not just game days.
No, just game days. I can't. Come on. Now, if we somehow make the playoffs, then it will never come off until our season's over. But that's a different story. Anyway, I am excited for today's game. I think it's going to be ugly, though. I think it's going to be an ugly game. Yeah. Both offensive lines are just rough. So
we feeling 13-9, a 13-9 kind of game.
No, maybe like a 17-14 kind of deal. That's what I'm feeling.
Oh, okay. One touchdown, we're world champions. 17-14. Believe it, and it will happen.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. That kind of game. I'm thinking Leo Williams is having a big game. Leo's having a monster game. I'm feeling it.
See it, man. Really anybody on that defense side. I called Austin Johnson my giant factor on this week because it's like, what very, very strange, very random. Mm-hmm. But really, like this defensive line needs to step up, because I'm not going to say that they need to step up against a good offensive line, but the Dolphins are a bad offensive line. Like let's see.
They may be worse than ours.
Have a play. Yeah, they may be.
Which is a statement.
And the difference,
that's saying something.
The difference is I think Tua, like national media people have been giving compliments to Tua about his manipulation of the pocket, which may be better than Daniel Jones this year. And that's not, Daniel Jones has been doing a really good job of keeping that sack rate down. I mean, I actually want to pull it up, comparing his sack rate to years past. But yeah, I'm with you. I have been kind of quiet about my disapproval of Leonard Williams, and usually, people call me I'm such a Leonard Williams homer, but he has the sacks are there, right? And he could very well finish with these last 6 games close to 10 sacks, and a lot of people are going to be happy with that and think the contract's worth it. Not me. If this, I don't think he's going to get to over 20 QB hits this year. And that will be the only, the second or the third time in his pretty long career that he has not gotten over 20 QB hits. And that's not him. He's got to do that. So
yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I could see him having like a Seattle kind of game that he had last year where he just takes over the game.
I love that. I would love that.
That's honestly what I'm feeling. I think Saquon's going to step up. I know our offensive line. We need to get creative. We need to find creative ways to get him in space.
Yep.
That is the best way. That's how he operates the best, and that's how I think are going to take a lot of pressure off our offensive line. Is to give him in space and make them respect Saquon, so we can give Mike Glennon at least a little bit of time to breathe, a little bit of time to stand there without getting completely killed every play. Or at least when they send the blitz, because when Miami sends the blitz, they send the blitz.
Yeah, they're the second highest blitz heavy team in the National Football League. And partially what gets me, if this were a Jason Garrett game, I'd be like, they have no hope with Mike Glennon. They just have no hope, because so much of Jason Garrett's offense is timing and curl routes, and whenever a guy turns his head, boom, the ball has to be there. And I just don't trust, let alone, Daniel Jones isn't really a timing quarterback, but especially a quarterback that hasn't been out there with these guys throughout the entire season. I don't trust most quarterbacks to thrive in that Jason Garrett system. But the fact that, what we saw last week, and this is really the only thing I'm holding on to right now. We saw yards after the catch with Freddie Kitchens. And, the fact that, how many times did we see last week? And just use the eye test, not even the numbers. How many times did you see last week, guys catching the ball and they had momentum under them and they were running?
Like that Evan Ingram catch. I remember that one.
And that was a short little dump off screen. So you should have open space. You should. But the Darius Slayton play, where he's running across the middle of the field, that's the most yards after the catch Darius Slayton has had since 2019
he looked
against
like
the
a
Jets.
completely different player.
Yeah, 2019 against the Jets, where he took an OBJ slant to the house. John Ross, he did a crossing route over the middle of the field, and he got yards after the catch. Kenny Galladay in the fourth quarter, where he took over that drive, there was a play where he tripped up, and if he didn't trip, that would have been a bigger yards after the catch play, and it was an 18-yard play, would have been a 20-plus yard play. So that's my hope, and that's why it sucks that Shep isn't here. It sucks that Tony isn't here, because those would have been two guys. Those would have been two guys that would have really helped in the yards after the catch category. Shep gets separation, and then Tony is just Tony, So that's what sucks about it.
I think if Tony played this game, this could potentially have been his biggest game of the season.
Oh yeah, especially Glenn. The Tony breakout party was with Glennon.
In Dallas. Yep.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Is John Ross playing?
John Ross is, I believe he's playing. Yeah.
Okay, I know he's questionable. I just want to make sure.
I'm kind of questionable, maybe the new probable, and I've seen that.
Sure.
I think that I gotta take a look at the injury reports week by week, because they changed it this year. There's no more probable, questionable, doubtful. There's just questionable, doubtful. And I found that teams have been using the doubtful designation a little bit more. When if I was an NFL team, I would just say this guy's questionable every week, even if there's a 50-50 shot. I would just make everybody questionable.
Most of our skill position players,
they're doubtful.
All right. Well, I'll get out of your way. I'll let other people get in here.
I appreciate that, Sean. Do me a favor. If you're on Twitter or Instagram or something, you got to send me the link for that chair. I mean, look, I gotta.
All right, let's see what you got.
I got an office chair. This is terrible.
Yeah, well,
I sit here all day, and I gotta have this because my big ass just boosts down the chair and the cushion.
I like it. I think it fits. It fits the room. I like it.
Yeah, it does. It fits. It fits the room. All right. It doesn't fit my ass.
All right. I'll see you later.
Thank you, Sean.
Go Giants.
Go Giants. All right. All right, so I'm going to use these breaks to talk about myself and give a little. I guess it's intermission. I'm incredibly sore. Played football yesterday. Barely could get out of bed. Not as sore as I thought. I did moss, like I said, I mossed one of my friends, so I do have a contested catch touchdown over Kenny Galladay. Got that. Played one game, one touchdown. I had a few more. Passing touchdowns, I delivered a ball. I was like Dan Marino out there. Very happy. All right, Josh. Hello, my friend. How are you? Welcome to the stream. You are the co-host of the Giant Take podcast. So do we have any mods in here? Include the link for the Giant Take podcast. We don't do mods, but we have like a few Patreon. So there was one day where I think we were live streaming and we did it as a joke where it's like, oh, we're gonna give a few of our Patreon members like mod verifications. But we just let the chat go rambunctious usually, and we get some interesting comments. Josh, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Justin. How are you? How are you doing since we talked midweek?
I'm doing well. I kind of look bad. I had a Saturday night. I'll tell you what. I had a sat between playing football during the day and went to a Mexican restaurant and then went to a bar afterwards. So I mean, I had a Saturday night, and I'm here, and we're talking Giants. I mean, this is just what we do. So what do you got for me? How you feeling today? How you feeling in general? I know losing Joe. We talked about early in the week. I have chapstick in my hand. We talked early in the week about just how big not having Daniel Jones is. And,
right.
When we talked in the middle of the week, we were so like 50-50 on like, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? What's happening? Do we believe the Carpenter? The Carpenter was right. Ian Rappaport comes out, Talking Giants account tweeted this out. And apparently Ian Rappaport said that Daniel Jones is expected to miss multiple weeks now. So where are you at right now? Are you thinking about this game today, or are you thinking about the wider ramifications of this Giants season?
I'm thinking that right now with Daniel Jones out and the GOAT Mike Glennon starting, that it's like I kind of tweeted this out earlier. I was like, did the Giants really try and do, the tank word? Everyone wants to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's even like the GIF when you look up Mike Glennon in Twitter, and it's him as the head of a tank. So it's literally, I think JQ actually tweeted it out. He put like Mike Glennon on the tank. So I don't know. I think that after this game, win or loss, that really just defines the rest of our season, right? I mean, I think we've been saying that, though. Like, if we lose, I mean, I guess you can already say we knew it was over, right? We already saw the Gettleman report from last week about how he's done. But I think if we win, we really do try and push us to your 9-8 perfect season. What I wanted to ask you, Justin, is that Ronan tweeted out about 10 minutes ago now that Soldier is expected to start, and he came into this game questionable as well. And you were saying earlier, funny enough, that like questionable is kind of like just basically.
I don't even know what it is. It's kind of strange. We have to get like I think teams are using doubtful more, more than they used to because of the only 2 designations. So all right, so Solder's expected to start. So what do I think? What do I think? Ask finish question. Basically,
it's an elbow injury. So the whole thing this week was talking to coaches about Matt Parrott and why he isn't starting and all of that. Will this elbow injury, quote unquote, help him get some more play time, and kind of him and Soldier will switch out throughout the game?
No.
Yeah.
However, it would have been fun. I never root for injury, but it doesn't seem like this Nate Solder elbow injury was life threatening, right? It would have been pretty funny if Nate Solder missed this game after the whole media campaign of the entire coaching staff saying how he's better than Matt Parrott, like just flat out coming out and saying it. That he's better than Matt Parrott. It would have been really funny if Nate Solder would have missed this game and then Matt Parrott's at right tackle and he plays better than Nate Solder. Not even that he plays good. He just plays better than Nate Solder. That would have been really funny. But no, I think Solder's here. And I really don't take anything, and I think maybe we were talking about this too. Yeah. I don't take anything the media says, or no, not the media. I don't take anything the coaching staff says about Nate Solder versus Matt Parrott. I don't take it seriously. I really don't, because I don't think that they're stupid. I actually like Rob Sale. I think Rob Sale, for the offensive line that we have this year, which is worse than it was in 2020, and now Nate Solder was at left tackle in 2019. It may be just as worse as what it was in 2019.
Right.
No, 2019, I think they were a better rushing offense. So maybe we'll even say it's worse than 2019. I don't take anything that they say seriously. I can't, because I don't think they're stupid. They have to see that Matt Peart, even though he's not a good football player, he's a better football player than Nate Solder. There are a lot of people right now who are better football players than Nate Solder. There's a lot of people who don't even put football pads on right now in the entire world that are better at Nate Solder at right tackle, right? But it's just where we are. It's just where we are, man, where, you heard how the Giants talked about Kyle Rudolph over the offseason and how they handled that situation of we're the Giants and we're going to do things in a certain way. Bobby was saying that, it may just be as simple as they don't want to just flat out embarrass him, which I don't think it would be embarrassing. I think it's more embarrassing by playing him every week and then he's a freaking meme. They don't want to, they want to let his time in blue, since he's been a good Giant. I put that in quotes, he's represented everything that you want, and they feel bad about his family situation and having to opt out last year. They want his time to blue end off somewhat, with pride. That's the only thing, and that's a bad reason, but it's really, the only thing that I can think of. So I just think, I understand, right? They also, judge Sale. They don't want to sound stupid. They don't want to make themselves be like, yeah, well, we kind of know. Oh, I'm here.
Justin's camera has fell.
Yep. What else is new? Keep going. I'm here.
Camera's down. Okay, you're back. No. So basically, I understand, they also don't want to. I feel like they can go out there and say, though, hey, listen, we tried our chance with Soldier. It hasn't really worked out. We're gonna try with Peart, but I guess they're just also trying to defend their own player, right? They can't put him under the bus. That's just the way, because then the media headlines, will go absolutely insane. What I just didn't like, and I talked to Alex about this, my co-host, when Sale goes already just puts that, okay, yeah, Soldier's a better player, and then does a 50-second explanation after the fact. There's no need for that. Okay, we already heard your answer. You answered the question. You said Soldier's a better player than Peart. And then he goes on to say, this blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, I don't want to hear it. You already answered the question. You pissed me off already. I don't need to hear more.
Yeah, like I said, anything that they say, it's just, I'm not gonna listen, because for my mental health and well-being, I can't listen to it. And it's very true. What they say about Peart is very true, by the way. About not having, they basically say not having that dog in him, not having that aggression in him, which is true. That's something where, even if you go back to, the PPP playlist on this podcast, and on YouTube, one of the things that I say is, Matt Peart, I want to see more aggression. I want to see more an aggressive punch. We talk about these things that the coaching staff has said this is why he's not playing. But even if Mike Remmers was starting, even if Cam Fleming was starting over him, I would get it, I guess. But the fact that it's Solder just means, it's so much more head scratching. All right, we got inactives. We got Giants inactives. Daniel Jones expected. A lot of these are expected. Nobody really oh my God, why is he inactive? Daniel Jones, Adoree Jackson, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, O'Shane Ximines, and guard Wes Martin. Ben Bredesen's here, so that's why Wes Martin is inactive. O'Shane Ximines is going to be cut this offseason. There is no way he makes it on the team next year. That's the take. That's the take from that. That there's all these games in a row which he's been inactive.
I can't say no. So,
especially because Trent Harris started the year on the practice squad, and now they're suiting him up over O'Shane Zim. Come on. There's no way he is making it on the team next year.
What do you think about the report that we could see from, no matter if it's going to be a shutout or not? Did you see that?
Who had that report?
Let me find it.
Yeah,
they were saying that Fromm could come in, even if it's not a shutout.
He's he just got here. He just got here. What is he gonna run? How about if we're up 3 scores like we're going to be, and we just run the ball? I would love to see Jake Fromm in that capacity. I would love it. All right, I haven't read comments the entire time because everybody's been awesome. So Josh, while you find that report, I'm gonna read some comments
and kick me out whenever you want. By the way, I don't want
to. No. We gotta get some more people in here, and I like this because we're We're both podcasts and co-hosts, so we kind of know what we're doing. No Shep, no Tony. Chris Myrak is going to be Glennon's safety net. This is true. People don't talk about that enough. Well, I wonder how they're going to. I don't think he's going to get that many snaps if Rudolph is active. So there you go. They didn't put Rudolph on IR. I think Bredesen isn't starting for the same reason as Pear. If that's the way they are picking up, if that's the way they are picking who is starting. The thing with Bredesen, we gave draft picks for this guy. Like we gave we gave 5th round draft pick up for Ben Bredesen, and I think we were a lot more excited about him than Skora. And Skora, while he's Bobby talks about he's a high IQ player, but he just doesn't have that physicality at guard. The Bredesen versus Skora conversation is a lot less emotion filled and a lot less like I don't really care as much versus the whole Solder and Parrott thing. But it is a conversation where we did panic trade for all these offensive linemen, and we gave up, Ben Bredesen being the most significant one, I feel, along with Billy Price. But, Bredesen was the most significant one when you talk about it was for a pick, and that's another guy that's not playing as well. So
I can't find this freaking report, but I mean, it said that I swear I saw something along the lines of like Jake Fromm, could play even if Giants are not getting blown out or something along those lines. Did you see here? I have a headline right here. Jake Fromm already providing Giants intel on Dolphins. What is he really?
Why was because he played for the Bills? AFC East.
They knew they got a quality backup. As remember,
I honestly think that they liked him during the draft process.
He went up against the Dolphins twice when he was with the Bills.
That's the intel. Not the fact that Patrick Graham was on the coaching staff and Brian Flores is part of the same coaching tree as the coaching staff. No, that's not helpful. Jake Fromm playing the Bills twice is helpful. No, I mean I think that's just who said that. Who said that? Who tweeted that?
It wasn't a tweet. It's an article by Big Blue View.
I have no comment. Why even waste your time?
Oh no. I'm just stating the wrong thing here. It was Giants Wire. The USA Today.
I like Giants Wire, so I can't.
Okay. See, so that was my fault.
I wouldn't have written that article. Just saying. That's kind of bizarre. He studied Dolphins in college. This is true, Sean. I don't know who he's talking about, but studied Dolphins in college, which is helpful for this game.
The headline of the article is, Jake Fromm already providing Giants intel on Dolphins by Giants.
You think the Giants have a shot at picking up Jason Giambi? Are you too young to know, why this question was funny? You think the Giants have a shot at picking up Jason Giambi? Are you too young to know?
Well, that was the Yankees player, right? Or was that?
Yes, it was the Yankees player. Now, how do I show this?
Well... Oh, you're really putting me on the spot here.
It's a Mike Francesa reference.
Okay.
Because somebody called WFAN one time and
is this one where he absolutely raged? Is that like the clip?
I don't know. It was a prank call for years. This thing went on for years where it's like, hey, what do you think about the Yankees' next manager being Jason Giambi? Hey, what do you think about the Knicks going out and getting Jason Giambi? So people would just call WFAN and they would do that. 3 stars. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Season from hell for the Giants. Well, I mean, it ain't gonna be hell when we go 9-8. Just gonna tell you that much right now.
Because I always see Jason Giambi's name, and I know that his brother was kind of like his brother also played in the MLB, but he was kind of like he wasn't good. Right, and he played for Oakland during the time of the Billy Bean era.
Mm-hmm. He was a janky, he was a good janky.
Yeah,
janky, my jammy.
He was part of the Derek Jeter flip, though. No, that's who got out.
I think he was on the A's for that. So Stu asked, "How old is Glennon?" He is 31. I just looked it up. 31. His birthday is in a couple days, December 12th.
Oh, we have to wish him a happy birthday.
So Mike Glennon, Daniel Jones looks like he may be out for a few weeks, according to Ian Rappaport, and the Carpenter, which I trust more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Then next Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers, Mike Glennon will be celebrating his birthday. And Josh, I want you to hang out, but I'm going to add Alex. It's Big Blue in the Bronx.
What's going on?
How are we? Were just talking about the Yankees, and now you're here.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yes. To add to that, actually, I know Josh brought up his brother. Jeremy Giambi was the one that was actually out on the Jeter flip play in 2001. So there's
There you
some
go.
context to that.
Boom.
Thank you.
Who do we want
I
to win
needed
between
that.
the Eagles and the Jets? The Jets.
Well, I mean, the person who's doing their linen above me is, Jets
I
fan,
know.
so-
Your brother's a Jets fan,
Yes.
but for the Giants' playoff purposes, I need the Jets to win.
A lot of Eagle fans yesterday were underestimating the Jets. I mean, they beat the Titans.
This
And
is
Gardner
true.
Minshew's starting, so.
This is true. This
Hopefully
is
we
true.
beat 'em
Zach
today.
Wilson breakout game. Let's see.
Hopefully.
Stu, it's a good question about Mike Glennon's age, because you would think that he would be a lot older, but he's only 31 and he's about to turn 32 next week. So, been in the league since 2013. Was he a first rounder? No, he was a third rounder.
Wow.
He's had a long, solid career. Like, imagine how much money you get and how many games has he played in his career. He's played in 35 games and he started 27. Sign me up. only won two. Only won 2 of his starts.
Damn.
Love that.
The last one he won was, I think, with the Bears or something, 2017, September 25th or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember Ralph Vacchiano had it.
All right, Alex, how are you? How are you feeling about today? I'm using my hands in the air. How are you feeling about today? Are you thinking about like I'm really locked in to today's game, or are you kind of into like, well, Jones being out has larger ramifications for the season and the future of this franchise? Where are you at right now?
Well, I'm taking it game by game, but if he's actually out a few weeks, I mean, there's nothing, So I mean, obviously, I'm going to keep watching the games, but there's nothing to evaluate. We're going to evaluate Mike Glennon for next season. I mean, that would be really stupid. But you could put him in the Bronx Zoo, the giraffe neck, the first giraffe or something.
That's
I don't know.
true.
But
It's actually absurd. But can continue your point. But it is actually absurd. Like the Giants' social media account put out the. They were in like their jumpsuits going down to Miami yesterday. I got to stop saying that. They were going down the plane yesterday. And I'm like I'm like, all right, I'm usually not like a big like fan of just like the same joke that everybody else is making. But it is absurd how large of a neck he has. I need to find a text message that somebody sent me. Hold on. Go, Alex, continue your point.
yeah, in terms of this game, I have the Giants actually winning. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Just look at that. I mean, that's
How could
that's
you not
absurd.
love that?
This is a human being, a real human being. Go ahead.
I have the Giants winning a low-scoring game, 20-16 today. I know that the Dolphins obviously, can win the game with the blitzing and stuff. What I'm really looking forward to, honestly, is seeing Aaron Robinson play the second cornerback spot or play against Jalen Waddle, whichever position he plays. Because honestly, after watching last week's game and even, in person, him just playing physical, I said on Twitter, maybe it's the second coming of Jackrabbit. I mean, they both went to Florida schools. I mean, what was I going to say? Jackrabbit went to like South Alabama or North Alabama, but he went to Florida first. But, I'm excited for that, but I obviously know that after this game, there's not too many winnables, especially with Mike Glennon as your quarterback. So that's something I'm really scared for, but we'll see what happens.
I'm looking right now because you brought up Aaron Robinson against Jalen Waddle, which in my brain I've been thinking James Bradbury against Waddle, and I want James Bradbury to kind of like jam him at the line of scrimmage. Waddle has taken most of his snaps, I think, from the slot. So he kind of splits. So there's 373 snaps that he's taken from the slot, 294 that he's taken outside, and then 723 total snaps. So, I mean, this may be like the first really good test for Aaron Robinson in the slot. Now, this may be Darnay Holmes. Well, Darnay Holmes is on IR, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really a good test for Aaron Robinson, who I hope he plays in the slot. And then they have either Julian Love, Stephen Parker on the outside, because I want to see Aaron Robinson's aggressiveness. I want to see, like, the reason why we drafted him is because he is aggressive. He jams guys up at the line of scrimmage. He slows guys down. And if they can do that to Jalen Waddle while he's been really, really efficient, he catches a lot of footballs and he's getting better and better and better. If you can disrupt the timing of the route, then hopefully that will make things harder on Tua, harder on Jalen Waddle to get the ball. So that's my hope. I'm selfishly hoping that Aaron Robinson is in the slot when Jalen Waddle's in the slot, which we didn't really talk about that during the previous show. So that's a really good point.
Yeah, he's a good run defender too. I mean, for a team that really doesn't defend runs to the outside well, I mean, we could definitely use somebody like that, especially now.
Yeah.
One more thing, I know someone brought up the Bears, and I don't know if this was a discussion topic earlier, but this year's New York Giants versus New York Jets game is not going to be a New York Giants-Jets game. It's going to be Chicago Bears, Seattle Seahawks, because the Seahawks have one of the top picks for the Jets. So,
yes.
Well, let me reverse that. Jets have one of the top picks for the Seahawks. So,
oh, wow.
Let's go Seattle Seahawks.
No.
Yes.
No.
And there's your brother who's a Jets fan. That's great. I didn't think about that. Like the ramifications of that game for the two New York sports teams. That's awesome.
And unfortunately, I mean, if we win today, the Eagles get a higher pick because obviously they have one of the Dolphins picks.
I don't care. People talk about all the time. Eagles have 2 top 10 draft picks. Eagles have 2 top 10 draft picks. I don't care. I care about how many. And now here's the thing: the Eagles are entering into a phase where they are openly admitting to rebuilding, right? So good for them. Like that's what you're supposed to do when you're a rebuilding team. You're supposed to get draft picks. The Giants shouldn't care about that because the Giants need to win football games themselves. I don't care who's a quarterback on it. I want to win football games this year. I do. I don't care if it matters. I don't blah 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 blah. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care.
I have a question for both of you guys. Obviously, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard on the Dolphins. We obviously played also cornerbacks that were pretty good against the Eagles. Didn't score many points. Do you think that's gonna limit how good these Giants receivers are, especially now since most of them are out?
Alex, go for it.
I'm going to say there's going to be some limitations, but I don't think it'll be that bad. Personally, somebody I've always liked since they came out of the draft, and I wanted the Giants to draft him in 2019, was Nick Needham. He actually got an interception off Eli Manning. But I looked statistically at Pro Football Reference, and Byron Jones is, I think, their worst corner because his passer ratings at in the hundreds and completion percentage and stuff like that. But if Freddie Kitchens has a playbook designed at least to get to some of the pressure off Glennon in the offensive line, I won't have a problem with that. We all know Glennon has this huge arm, so go to Kenny Galladay, whatever, do the simple crossing routes like you did last week with Slayton and John Ross. And then also, if you're poising for Saquon to have a big game or, somewhat of a game, throw screens to him, throw screens to Evan Ingram and get plays down the field because obviously Miami's done well in terms of defense over the last couple of weeks. They've also played some pretty crappy teams. And I think Justin actually said on the preview podcast that they have allowed, well, now it's the second most yards because the Cowboys have allowed the most yards in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So,
on the defense side of the ball, they've allowed the most yards in the NFL, the second most. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't see the cornerback position, how good they are to be really an excuse because I'm really hoping that Freddie Kitchens game plans around that. Obviously, he did that last year with Colt McCoy, and I don't think Colt McCoy has that big of an arm like Mike Glennon. Now, no. Glennon has the ability sometimes to overthrow receivers and underthrow them, like the Trayvon Diggs interception. But I'm expecting at least one touchdown. But they need to get something in the ground game going, even though the Dolphins are 10th in run defense.
There you go. All right, fellas, there's been some people that have been waiting in the waiting room for a little bit. But what I want you to do, I'm giving you full permission to do this. Since we don't have mods on this channel, and so they can't do this for me. What I want you to do, I'm going to kick you guys out. You're going to leave. And I want you to post your YouTube channels in the chat so people can go and they can subscribe and they can do all of the normal things that happen there. So Josh from Giant Take, Alex from Big Blue in the Bronx, they have YouTube channels, podcast as well. I know Josh is, Alex is more on the YouTube side with the videos, and then Josh, you split between the YouTube and the podcast side of things. So, fellas, thank you for joining me. Manny, get ready. because I'm coming to you next. Thank you, fellas, for joining. Go Giants.
Go
Thank
Giants.
you, Justin. Thank you, Alex.
Manny, my friend, I love your shirt. Show off that
Oh,
shirt.
man.
For me,
Oh,
please.
yeah. Shake and bake, baby.
Oh, today's the day. Today's the day.
Oh, yeah. Patrick Graham Revenge Day.
Patrick Graham revenge game. I love it. That was the first thing I tweeted out on Monday. That was my first Monday morning tweet after
Yeah,
the
and
Eagles game. I'm like, this is his revenge week.
And shout out Patrick Graham because the pictures from Miami to now are as a completely different guy.
Yeah,
Talk about body transformation.
He's a different person from that shirt that you have on.
And he's a way more effective defensive coordinator too. So shout out him.
Well, the first part of the season was sketch, but the thing that makes Patrick Graham I'm not going to say great, but the thing, because great's a I think great would be an exaggeration, but the thing that I like about Patrick Graham, versus Jason Garrett, right? Let's just use him as a comparison.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett never adjusted. Jason Garrett never adjusted from 2009. Patrick Graham adjusts from game to game, second quarter to third quarter, and then season to season he adjusted. They did some things based off of what they did in 2020, and they changed from like the single high cover 3, and now they're doing the 2 high, and they're doing some cover 2 stuff. So they change things up in the way that they're going about on the defense side of the ball. And it's effective for the players that they have on their unit. Where last year they had a little bit more of a pass rush. This year there's no pass rush. So he's got to sit back and say, well, how am I going to win on defense? And, the way that they're winning is by allowing a shit ton of yards. But, when teams enter, the
Bend
field
but don't
goal
break.
zone bend but don't break. When they enter in the field goal range and red zone, they lock down.
And one thing I noticed last year, I really noticed it. He will use everybody on his roster. I mean, at one point, Carter Coughlin was rushing during like the last minutes of this important Seattle game last year. This year, Quincy Roche made a big play that, if you think about it, it was just Quincy Roche. Azeez Ojulari wasn't even on the field that play. So he would just use everything at his disposal, which I mean, with or without Jason Garrett, the offense won't even start Matt Pert, which hopefully, T's and P's, I hope Nate Soder gets better, but this might be a Matt Pert game depending on what happens with Nate Soder. I don't think that's been confirmed if he's playing or not.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it was confirmed just within the news of everything that was happening during this live stream where we were talking about a little bit earlier. I think he is playing, and he's not inactive. And I'm willing to bet that if Nate Soder's not inactive, he's playing. I mean, especially because the whole media campaign that they went on this week saying that Nate Soder's better than Matt Pert.
Which makes me off the Matt Pert train. That's done.
Yeah. How can you not be at this point? But it's just the fact that if any other almost near average level player was starting over Matt Pert, like if it was Mike Remmers or even Cam Fleming, who was not good, if it was either one of those people starting over Matt Pert, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I guess I'm cool with it. But the fact that it's Solder and it's so bad, and you see the bad plays, it's like, dude, like what the hell? Which that's what makes it worse. You mentioned Carter Coughlin just like in passing. And I was thinking about this probably like a couple days ago, but we haven't talked about it on the podcast. And I was thinking about, all of our summer takes of Carter Coughlin could be the next Kyle Van Noy. And I said during his PPP, the little mini series that we do on each player, I said the Carter Coughlin takes that we have on the show, that could be like the one player that we look back and we were like, we were way too excited about that.
Like O'Shane in his rookie season.
Yeah, but where did he go? Where did Carter?
I think
Coughlin
he injured
go?
himself. I remember last week watching the Minnesota game. I think last week watching the Minnesota game, like Minnesota versus Wisconsin college game, he was on the sidelines, but he had his ankle looking like it was in a boot. I think he's out. I don't know if he's out or on IR, but I mean,
this is Bobby's much better at keeping track of all the, believe it or not, I'm a Giants podcast. Oh yeah, Giant. All right, so you're right. He does have an ankle injury. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, which I think, that
makes me feel
better.
I think
regardless of what happens this year, I think Pat Graham is the only guy I would consider, like, he probably would, like any GM would say, why would we get off of this guy compared to what he's done with what he's had and the teams he's been on? Because a lot of what affects the defense is also the offense. If the offense is getting 3 outs, 3 in a row, you can't expect your defense to continue to force a 3 and out, force turnovers, force field goals. It's just not. It's good balance. It's a good balance. When Giants teams were good, it was a good balance. Maybe the offense wasn't great at times during those Super Bowl runs, but when they needed to, they scored and they won. So that's the biggest difference with these Giants teams recently is that one year they'll have a great offense, another year they'll have a terrible defense, and then vice versa. It's like a damn hot potato. And then some years they're just terrible on both sides. So
like 2019, you saw the offense kind of come out a little bit, and then 2020, and then 2019, the defense was bad, and now that's what we were expecting for 2020. It's like we were saying our pre-season takes were, I think this offense is going to have to carry this defense, and then lo and behold, it was vice versa.
And then 2015, Bobby Skinner's alive. TMP's the Bobby Skinner, but and then like 2015, Eli Manning had a Pro Bowl season, great offense, and then that defense was like that. Ungai was a dude starting that's probably selling car insurance now.
You want a Unga, yeah.
Unga, yeah. They had JPP, the best pass rush, which by the way, that was
Cullen Jenkins and Robert Ayers.
Yeah. Landon Collins' rookie season looked terrible. And then 2016, that defense completely does a turnaround, and then the offense regresses. So it's like,
isn't that? I mean, man,
it's frustrating.
I really want to do. I've been saying this for years. The dichotomy between
big word
dichotomy. I know. Yeah. I love that word.
Shout out you.
It's an SAT word. I think I picked it up then. The dichotomy between like 2015 and 2016, and like 2015 is Eli. I'm saying this right now, and 2011 is absolutely a thing, but 2015 is Eli's best statistical season.
I'll take that.
What the hell happened between 2015 and 2016? But I've talked to Bobby about this before. Bobby says that the NFL just figured out Ben McAdoo's playbook. That's what he says.
I mean, maybe it was Ben McAdoo. He should have just stayed in OC. Maybe that's what the case. Maybe they should have chose a different head coach, and they should have just kept him at OC, because obviously he wasn't made. He was. I mean, shoot. One year he comes out with the embarrassed 50-year-old haircut. The next year he comes back in the fake
Pat Riley.
Then the fake Pat Riley. So I mean, he wasn't the head coach for this team. Like
when somebody does that, you just get the sense like, okay, dude, this isn't you. Like,
I was an idiot. I was like, I like it.
You showed up to your. I did like it at the time, but now it's like hindsight's 2020. You showed up to your opening press conference in a suit that didn't fit you. That's you.
Look like Fit David. Yeah,
that's like the football guy that does nothing but football and is a weird guy.
Danny Shelton size. Yeah. Speaking. I just saw something that said the college selection show was starting. I just have a quick question, not about draft picks, but do you watch college? Like Saturday, were you hooked on yesterday?
I'm not. You know what, man? I gotta, as time goes on, I gotta get more into it. But now that football's been like my life, the last especially since like July, and since I've been hired full time, there's a day where I need a break. But ask away. I got some.
Who do you think's the four to go in?
Oh, it's gonna be
in the order.
I would have Alabama at 1, Michigan at 2, Georgia at 3, Cincinnati at 4. Man. I am not a Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame can throw, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now I would do this. I would probably say I would say Cincinnati 2, Georgia 3, Michigan 4. Because
Cincinnati at 2?
Just because.
I love it.
And listen, it really doesn't matter. 1 through 4, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But I think first off, if I'm thinking of a TV producer, who would not want to see Coach Saban versus Coach Harbaugh? Plus, you also have Georgia versus Cincinnati rematch of last year's bowl game in the Peach Bowl. And I mean, if all goes well,
that would be the perfect way.
Georgia versus Alabama rematch.
Yep. That would be the perfect way. Yeah. That would be the perfect way to make an SEC national championship, which I think that's what they want.
I mean, it's gonna. We say it every year, but they are the best conference. I mean, Vanderbilt, if they were in the American Conference, would probably have been playing Cincinnati yesterday over Houston. It's like that. They're good. They're pretty good. I mean, it's a pipeline for the NFL. I mean, look at our school. Georgia is. Yeah.
Somebody left a comment saying that you sound like Eminem. Have you ever gotten that before?
Nah, I never did, but shout out Yasuk.
Yeah.
Well, shout out. Okay, I never got that before, but I'll take that.
Can you rap for us?
It's funny because I think I just played out a little 8 Mile verse yesterday. I don't know if we're allowed to cuss or anything, but like when we kept saying like Daniel Jones is out, I said fuck Jones, fuck OC, fuck everybody. I'm a piece of But at this point, I don't know if we could talk about. I don't know how much time we have. Thank you for doing this. This is awesome. But
no problem. We'll wrap up in a few. You'll be my last guy.
Let's just do this last topic then.
Yeah.
I'm off of Daniel Jones. Like at this point, it's either my first choice is trading for a quarterback that's available, and there's going to be guys available. And I get everyone's like, oh, we don't have the cap space, this and that. The cap space is a fugazi because they can just make it whatever they want. They can put numbers here, there. And I get maybe that's not great for the future, but eventually, you know, if you get Super Bowls, if you win games, that's worth it. And this team has had moments where like that Tampa Bay, that there's games where maybe if the quarterback was better, and I'm not saying Daniel Jones has been the reason why this team has lost, because if it doesn't work out that we can't get Russell Wilson, then hey, okay, we have draft picks to make this team better and to get it right, like Tampa did with Tom Brady in a way like that. You know, maybe not necessarily a vet, but it could be a rookie who shows out like a Mac Jones and the team's ready and built at that point. That could be fine. But it's just, unless Daniel Jones wins a damn Super Bowl next year, it's going to be really hard. Like if they, first off, they're not, I don't think they give him the 5th-year option, but it's really hard for me to believe that this guy is on the team longer. And I like Daniel Jones. I really do. I'm invested financially. I have a jersey. I don't want to turn that jersey into an NFL draft jersey. You know, you tape over and you put the new name of the number 1 draft pick we have. I don't want to do that. But I mean, hey, it's looking like it. But it does stink that he's not on this team right now, you know, playing. It would be interesting to see how it goes out. But I'm interested to see, like, if you're the GM, they hire you, you're the guy. Mm-hmm. What do you like? All right, you've done your decision on the coaches. What are you going to do about DJ?
Yeah, right now, if he misses an extended period of time, that it'll be the 3rd year in a row, which forget wins and losses on the football field for a second. It'll be the 3rd year in a row where he misses an extended period of time late in the year, by the way. Like, we're not talking about like, a September injury that has you out for a few weeks, and now boom, you're back to play those, late season games that matter. Right now, they haven't mattered because the Giants haven't been a winning football team the last couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
But these are 3 years in a row where you're missing an extended period of time as a quarterback, most important position in sports. That within itself, including the wins and losses and the QB play itself, and the fact that he's running out of time. We're just running out. You mentioned it with the 5th-year option. It's almost doesn't even matter if you're a Jones defender or not a Jones defender. We're just running out of time at this point. And the way that the NFL is structured is that if you don't do some sort of substantial winning while your QB is on his rookie deal, then you're kind of done. You don't really see a lot of teams, and Tom Brady is basically like the only exception to this.
Yeah, you
don't really see a lot of teams that are winning Super Bowl, getting to Super Bowls, having playoff success, and getting to Super Bowl, winning Super Bowls. That guys that are veterans that are on their like 2nd, 3rd, 4th deals,
and that's why
I'm see it.
And that's why I'm kind of more leaning towards like I personally would. It's already done in Madden world for me, but Russell Wilson's a Giant if I'm whoever the GM is.
Dude, and there's this strange part of me that wants it. And
like I would love those 1st-round picks. They'd be awesome.
I do think Saquon Barkley is going to be a Seattle.
When you said that, that's the first. I was like, ding, okay. Because here's the thing: I love Saquon too, but obviously, I mean, running back, it is what it is. There, I'm not even. We know that. I'm not going to re-end that. But I would love those 1st-round picks. It would be awesome to say, here's Akimi Kwanu and here's Evan Neal, our offensive lineman that's going to come in, or here's George Karlaftis, here's Aiden Hutchinson. It'd be great to do that. But also, too, that's why the Giants need to make sure they hire the right guy, because there's been 3rd, 4th, 5th rounders that have come in and blossomed in the NFL and have come from no-name schools or big-time schools that weren't getting – like, it's not like if you have a first – like, I'd rather trade for guys that are proven, but it's not like you can't effectively draft in the 3rd, 4th rounds. And the Giants still have – they trade 3 first-rounders. They're still going to have 3 picks in the top 2 – in the top 3 rounds, 2 and 2 threes.
Yeah, I'm definitely not for that. I'm definitely not really for that. It's just like this weird part of my brain that goes there and be like, ooh, that's fun. But I would rather and a lot of people in the chat are saying right now, it's I would rather use Jones if this is going to be the case. Use Jones as a bridge quarterback. Get this fucking offensive line right. Get this offensive line right. Get some sort of semblance of a pass rush. Use Jones as the bridge quarterback, and if you need to make a decision on a veteran, a trade, or whatever at the quarterback spot, and then you do that next year. So that's really I do think Jones has done enough to show that he should be back next year. Now the thing is that he would have showed it a lot more. Oh my god, I love dogs.
There's his Mirage.
Where's Mikey?
Say hi, Mirage.
it would have been great if Jones could show more with Freddie Kitchens, like I think he can. I think he can show more. I think these final 6 games, maybe it wouldn't have been anything spectacular, but I think there would have been a consensus amongst fans with Freddie Kitchens. It's like, yeah, I may not believe in Jones, but he should be here next year. So,
but a big part that's kind of tough to believe in Jones is because, he's out for all these reasons.
Correct.
And, granted, I guess we were spoiled because Eli Manning is a cyclops, which isn't talked about a lot in his career, of how good he was, how effective he was, and how much he was on the field. But then he wasn't a running quarterback. So that there's have your cake and eat it too.
All right, so we're almost an hour in, which I thought this was pretty fun. Manny, you have anything you want to plug?
Well, I applaud you guys for all the coverage you guys do. I applaud all the fans. I applaud our family for letting us get on here and do these things and being that weird dude in the corner sitting in front of the Christmas tree petting their dog.
I love it.
Hey, I appreciate all you guys, and let's go. I think we're gonna. Regardless of all what I just said, I think we're gonna win this game. And shout out Leonard Williams. He's gonna be a Giant. I don't know if he was a Giant factor, but I think he will be the guy we're gonna talk about after this game. Like, okay, yeah, because I know everyone's kind of up and down with him, but he's one of the best players on our team, and when he has a big game, Giants win. So I'm expecting a big game from Leo.
Jonathan, thank you for the super chat. We have a ton of time to talk about the draft. We got a little draft talk at the end there, but we have a ton of time to talk about the draft. 2 offensive linemen in the first round. That's
Daniel
it.
Faheli.
Who would you want if that happened? I don't know. Keanu Neal and Linderbaum, right? I haven't looked at anybody, but those are the names that everybody's talking about. All right, peace. We're going 9-8. The road to 9-8 continues today. Go Blue, go Giants. We'll see you tomorrow for Victory Monday, Victory Podcast. Shake and bake. All right, how do I end it?